the same low salary, but one person is quietly building wealth, while the other is spending his future to look rich today. Before paying a single bill, Haruto sets aside part of his paycheck in a white envelope. His clothes are worn, and his phone is not the newest model. But little by little, his account is building a financial cushion. Ren takes an expensive watch off his wrist. Beside him are shopping bags and the bill from a dinner that went over budget. His phone lights up. The balance on the screen leaves him silent. One man uses money to build his future. 8 Japanese money habits created the distance between them. The 4th secret touches the expense that is hardest to admit. The 7th explains why small changes often beat strong determination. And the final secret decides whether the first 7 can survive. Ren does not earn less than Haruto. He simply has not realized that a higher salary cannot save a system that keeps letting money leak away. If your income has gone up, but the anxiety at the end of the month has stayed the same, leave the number 1 inch. The comments. Maybe you do not lack money. Maybe it is simply flowing in the wrong direction. The first secret does not begin with investing. It begins by making every dollar leave a trail. Keiko Mori, 42, worked in administration at a small clinic. She did not drive a luxury car, wear designer brands, or make many large purchases. Yet by the end of each month, her balance was so low that she could not understand why. One evening, Keiko opened a blue-covered notebook and wrote down everything she had spent. A cup of coffee, a rushed lunch, a delivery fee, an app subscription she had forgotten to cancel, a few small purchases from a convenience store. No single expense was large enough to worry her. But when they appeared together on the page, they added up to an amount that was no longer small. That is the first principle of Kakebo. Do not judge yourself. Do not rush to remove every small pleasure. Simply make your money visible. Before each purchase, Keiko asked herself 4 questions. Can I live without this? Can I truly afford it? How long will I use it? And am I buying it because I need it, or because I am trying to soothe an emotion? The notebook did not increase Keiko's salary. It simply stopped her money from disappearing without an explanation. But seeing your money is still not enough. If you wait until the end of the month to save, life will always find a way to use whatever is left. Every payday, Haruto Sato repeated the same promise. This month, he would finally save. Each time his paycheck reached his account, he told himself that things would be different. But rent, groceries, and unexpected expenses always came first. By the end of the month, that promise had been pushed forward once again. One morning, Haruto changed the order. Before paying a single bill, he withdrew a small amount and placed it in a white envelope. On the front, he wrote one word: future. The amount was small at first. It did not make his family wealthy overnight, but it created a boundary. That money was no longer whatever happened to be left over. It became a protected portion, set aside before daily life had a chance to take it. From then on, Haruto stopped asking how much he could save at the end of the month. Instead, he built the month around what remained after paying his future first. That is the spirit of Sakidori Chokin. You do not save what is left after living. You live on what is left after saving. But even money that has been protected can still leak away through things that never needed to be replaced. Aiko's kitchen cabinets were nearly full, but whenever she saw something on sale, she still believed she was saving money. She never thought of herself as wasteful. Most of what she bought was small and seemed reasonable. A nicer storage container, a new towel, a discounted set of kitchen tools. But the house kept getting fuller while the bank account kept getting smaller. One day, the handle on an old pot broke. Aiko planned to throw it away and buy a new one. But a repairman nearby replaced the handle, and the pot worked just as well as before. That moment made her realize she had been confusing old with useless, and new with necessary. That is the spirit of Motonai. It does not mean living without comfort or keeping everything forever. It means respecting the value that still remains in objects. Food, money, and the time you traded to obtain them. After that, Aiko checked her cabinets before shopping, used up the food she already had, and replaced an item only when it could no longer serve her life. But there is another kind of waste that costs even more than replacing things too soon. It is spending money to buy other people's approval. Ren Takahashi, 34, worked in sales. His income was modest, but he always wanted to look like someone who had already made it. He bought an expensive watch on an installment plan, chose restaurants he could not truly afford, and ordered generously so no one would think he was struggling. One evening, Ren returned to his small apartment after an expensive dinner. He set his shopping bags on the table, took off his watch, and checked his phone. The balance in his account was not enough to protect him from an unexpected bill. Even though the watch on his wrist made people believe he was successful, the watch still shined, but his bank account told a different story. Ren realized he was not simply buying things, he was buying a few hours of admiration, then paying for that feeling with weeks of anxiety. If you have ever bought something you did not need just to avoid looking like a failure, leave the number 2 inches the comments. Some things are paid for with money. Others are paid for with weeks of worry. Quiet wealth is not about hiding your money. It is about no longer spending money to maintain an image your bank account cannot support. From that day on, Ren turned down gatherings that exceeded his budget and kept the money he had once used to impress people. But once he stopped using possessions to prove his worth, he had to face a harder question. If appearances do not create real value, what does? Daichi once believed the only way to earn more was to sell more of the hours that should have belonged to his family, whenever he needed extra money. He took another shift. His total income rose only because he worked more hours, while the value of each hour barely changed. One evening, Daichi realized that he was simply selling more time. He had not made each hour of his work more valuable. He cut back on a few shifts so he could learn to read technical diagrams, work with new equipment, and repair problems the factory had once hired outside specialists to fix. During the first few months, his income did not increase. He felt as though he was falling behind. A year later, Daichi became the person people called when the system developed a difficult problem. He was no longer just working more hours. He could do work that few others knew how to handle. That is a practical way to understand Ikigai. It does not always mean leaving your job to chase a passion. It can mean choosing a useful skill and patiently becoming better at it without destroying your health. But when Daichi's income increased, a temptation appeared. Why wait for years when someone was promising that his money could grow quickly in just a few months? Kenji Ito, 56, drove a regular bus route. Years earlier, he had placed nearly all of his savings into an investment opportunity that promised high returns in a short time. Kenji knew that higher returns came with greater risk. But after years of saving slowly, he began to believe he deserved a faster path. The promise of a shortcut convinced him that he could make up for all those years of gradual progress. But the money disappeared faster than he had earned it. After that, Kenji chose a more boring approach. Each month, he set aside a fixed amount, followed a simple plan, and ignored the latest investment hype. He did not use money needed for daily living, borrow money to invest, or place his family's future on a single gamble. Every morning before work, Kenji watered a young plant on his balcony. He did not pull on it to make it grow faster. He simply watered it, waited, and allowed time to do its part. Lasting wealth works the same way. It often grows quietly for a long time before the results become visible. But knowing that patience matters does not mean you can always maintain it. Emi had understood the right approach many times. Yet she still returned to her old habits. Emi Fujimoto, 39, worked the night shift at a convenience store. She had started many financial plans with intense determination. No eating out. No buying anything for herself. Save nearly everything. For the first 3 weeks, the plan made Emi feel like a new person. By the 4th week, the harsh restrictions backfired. She spent more than before just to make up for feeling deprived. This time, she did not try to change her entire life overnight. During the first month, Emi cancelled one service she rarely used. The next month, she prepared one extra meal at home each week. After that, she waited 48 hours before making an unnecessary purchase and increased her savings by a small amount. She wrote each change on a piece of paper and placed it in a box beside the dining table. That is Kaizen. Do not change everything at once. Make the system slightly better, with changes small enough to maintain even on exhausting days. After 1 year, Emi had no life-changing moment. She only had a series of small decisions that quietly changed the direction of her life. But when the goal is always to become better and have more, improvement itself can turn into another endless cycle. Masato understood what needed to come after growth. Masato Kobayashi, 63, was a carpenter preparing for retirement. He did not live in a large house, drive a new car, or earn the kind of salary that impressed other people. But Masato had no debt. He knew how much he needed each month for food, utilities, medicine, and a few small pleasures. When his income increased, he did not raise his standard of living. He kept the difference so he could buy more time and peace of mind in the years ahead. One afternoon, his young apprentice asked why he did not take on as many additional jobs as possible before retiring. Masato did not answer right away. He poured tea into the cup in front of him, then stopped while there was still a little space below the rim. A cup does not have to overflow to be full, he said. That is the spirit of Taru wo Shiru, knowing what is enough. It does not mean abandoning ambition or refusing to grow. It means deciding what truly serves your life before every new desire becomes another expense you must continue supporting. A person who never knows what is enough can earn a great deal and still feel as though something is missing, without a sense of enough. Keeping records only shows us how much more we want. Saving begins to feel like suffering, and Kaizen becomes a race with no finish line. Looking back, these 8 people did not learn 8 separate lessons. They were building 8 parts of the same financial system, 8 different stories. But not one of these people changed the future through a single major decision. Keiko made her money visible. Haruto protected his future before spending began. Aiko stopped replacing things that still had value. Ren stopped paying to look successful. Daichi increased the value of each hour he worked. Kenji allowed time to do its part. Emi improved slowly enough that she did not give up. Masato understood that growth only matters when it supports a life worth living. These 8 secrets form a sequence. See your money. Protect it. Stop wasting it. Stop performing for others. Build real skills. Avoid get-rich-quick promises. Improve one step at a time. Know what is enough. You do not need to become all 8 of these people tomorrow. You only need to recognize which step is holding you back. So, out of these 8 steps, what is the smallest thing you can begin tomorrow? For the next 7 days, do not rush to cut every expense. And do not blame yourself. Carry a small notebook with you. Every time money leaves your hands, write down 3 things: how much you spent, what you bought, and whether you bought it because you needed it or because of how you felt. After 7 days, read through the list without judging yourself. You may notice one small expense appearing again and again. A subscription you forgot to cancel. A purchase made to relieve stress. A convenient habit taking more from you than you realized. Do not try to fix everything. Choose just one small leak and change it over the next month. Your finances do not improve through punishment. They improve when you are honest enough to see your own behavior clearly. And once you see it, you have to choose. Will you keep paying for the image you want today? Or begin building peace of mind for the future? Keiko closes her notebook. Haruto places the white envelope in a drawer. Ren removes his watch and checks his balance. Then he looks at the number again and realizes that he no longer has to keep paying for other people's approval. The 2 men once earned almost the same amount. The difference did not come from one large sum of money. It came from small decisions repeated month after month. If you are ready to choose one small change and begin building financial freedom, leave the number 3 inches the comments. Freedom rarely begins with earning a great deal of money. Sometimes, it begins when you stop buying an image for the present and start protecting your future. Tomorrow, do not try to change your entire life. Simply hold on to the first bit of money you once would have allowed to slip away without thinking.